In the autumn of 1066, England believed it had survived its greatest threat. The enemy was gone. The crown was secure. That belief lasted exactly 3 weeks. On this channel, we tell the stories that history simplified too much, not legends of heroes, but moments where systems, discipline, and decisions quietly reshaped the world long before anyone realized what had been lost. This is not just the story of a battle fought on a single October day. It is the story of why England stopped being Anglo-Saxon, why its ruling class vanished almost overnight, and why the country that emerged afterward would never again look inward, only outward. The question is not how the Normans won. The real question is why England was structurally unable to stop them. For nearly 500 years before 1066, England had developed in relative isolation. Its kings spoke Old English, its laws were written in English, its nobility was local landholding and deeply rooted in regional loyalty. Power flowed outward from the king, but it was not centralized. England was a patchwork of earldoms, shires, and local assemblies. The system worked slowly, imperfectly, but predictably. Then came the North Sea. From the late 8th century onward, England learned to live under pressure. Viking raids became invasions, invasions became settlements, and settlements became rulers. By the early 11th century, England was no stranger to foreign kings. Danish rule under Canute had shown that England could survive conquest if the conqueror adapted. Canute did not replace English systems, he absorbed them. He ruled as an English king, not a Scandinavian warlord. That precedent mattered. By 1042, the old royal line returned with Edward the Confessor, a king raised in Normandy, a king without children, a king whose court quietly filled with foreign influence. Edward ruled for 24 years, and during that time, England rested. No major invasions, no internal collapse. But beneath the calm, the future was being contested. Edward left no clear heir, and England's crown was not inherited automatically, it was chosen. The Witan, the Council of Nobles and Bishops, held the authority to approve a king. This was not a weak system, it was simply a slow one. Outside England, others were watching. In Normandy, Duke William had built something different, not a loose kingdom, but a disciplined military state. Norman society was organized around obligation. Land for service, service for loyalty, loyalty enforced by law and violence. Where England relied on tradition, Normandy relied on contracts. William believed Edward had promised him the throne. Whether that promise was ever real mattered less than one fact. William acted as if it was binding. To the north, another claimant waited. Harald Hardrada of Norway, a king forged in constant war. He did not need promises. He believed the crown belonged to whoever could take it. England sat between them, unaware that succession was no longer a legal question. It was a logistical one. When Edward died in January 1066, the Witan moved quickly. They crowned Harold Godwinson, England's most powerful earl. Harold was English, experienced, respected, but he inherited more than a crown. He inherited a system built for consensus, not crisis. And crisis was already sailing toward him. The summer of 1066 was a test of endurance, not strength. Harold knew invasion was coming. He did not know from where or when. William assembled an army across the channel, ships, horses, supplies, but he waited. Harold mobilized England's third, the part-time citizen army. Farmers, landholders, local warriors. They could not remain mobilized forever. Harvest season mattered, food mattered. Weeks passed, the channel stayed quiet. By early September, Harold had no choice. He disbanded his forces. That decision would define the year. Almost immediately, the northern threat revealed itself. Harald Hardrada landed in Yorkshire with a massive force. Joined by Harold's own brother Tostig, they crushed local resistance at Fulford. England was being invaded, just not where Harold expected. Harold marched north with astonishing speed, nearly 200 miles in days. At Stamford Bridge, on September 25th, Harold achieved something extraordinary. He annihilated the Norwegian army. Hardrada was killed. Tostig was killed. The northern threat was erased. England believed it had won. Then the wind changed. 3 days later, William crossed the channel. Harold was still in the north, his army exhausted, his best troops dead or wounded. William landed unopposed in Sussex. He did not rush. He built a fortified base and foraged. He waited. This was not a raid. It was an occupation. Harold marched south again. No rest, no reinforcements, and no second chance. The Battle of Hastings was not chaos. It was restraint under pressure. Harold took the high ground at Senlac Hill. His army formed a shield wall tight, disciplined, defensive. This was England's strength. Infantry cohesion. Stubborn resistance. William faced a problem. Norman cavalry could not break the wall. Repeated charges failed. At one point, William's left flank collapsed. Rumors spread that the Duke was dead. This was the moment England could have won, but systems matter. The shield wall held until it didn't. Some English troops broke formation to pursue retreating Normans. They were cut down. William adapted. He ordered controlled, feigned retreats. Each time the wall weakened. This was not bravery versus cowardice. It was discipline versus impulse. Hour by hour, the English line thinned. Late in the day, Harold was killed. How exactly remains uncertain. What matters is what followed. Without centralized command, the English army dissolved. Not routed, not massacred, simply gone. The system had no answer for leadership loss. William did not chase glory. He secured the field. The battle ended. The conquest had only begun. William did not rush to London. He understood England better than England understood itself. He devastated the countryside selectively. He demonstrated power without exhausting his forces. When London submitted, William was crowned on Christmas Day, 1066. But a crown does not equal control. Rebellion followed, quietly, relentlessly. William responded systematically. Castles appeared across England, not symbols, but tools, each one a node of control. Land was redistributed, almost entirely. By 1086, fewer than a dozen major English landholders remained. The ruling class was replaced. Language changed, law changed, architecture changed. England was no longer Anglo-Saxon, it was something new. The Norman Conquest did not just change who ruled England, it changed how power worked. Centralization replaced consensus. Feudal obligation replaced local loyalty. England became outward-looking, connected to Europe. Its kings now held land in France. Its politics became continental. This shift shaped everything that followed. The Magna Carta, the 100 Years' War, the English language itself. 1066 was not a single rupture. It was a reprogramming. A moment when an old system met a new one and could not adapt in time. The Norman Conquest reminds us that history does not turn on bravery alone. It turns on preparation, on structure, on patience. England did not lose because it was weak. It lost because the world had changed faster than its systems could respond. This is a very extensive topic, and it is difficult to cover everything in just one video. Additional reading links are provided in the description below. If you want more stories like this where history reveals its deeper mechanics, consider subscribing. And tell us in the comments, what moment should we examine next, when everything seemed stable right before it wasn't.